all summer, I've been living in the AFO Middle Short Ultra from Janji. They're super comfortable and amazing shorts for running and for everyday wear too. They're lightweight with 6 pockets, a ton of room for gels in your phone, and they have a moisture-wicking brief liner and reflective detailing around hand pockets and reflective logos in the front and the back keep you seen and safe. Janji makes running apparel for everyday exploration with designs, materials, and features meant to help runners go farther and is made with durability in mind. And also, it's backed by a 5-year guarantee. Head over to janji.com to check out some designs for yourself and use code CHOOSESTRONG for 10% off your order. That's janji.com and use code CHOOSESTRONG. Are you an athlete looking to dial in your nutrition? Or are you a parent who loves cooking healthy meals for your family? Well, you need to check out Plan to Eat. Plan to Eat is a meal planning app that can save you time and money, an app that simplifies the meal planning process. Our family knows how important it is to meal plan in order to eat healthy, as I'm sure that you do too. Plan to Eat is great because when you find a healthy recipe online or from one of your favorite social media apps like Instagram or Pinterest, you can upload those recipes directly to the app and plan out your weekly meals or your entire month. One of the things that I like the most is that the shopping list is automatically generated from your planned recipes and makes grocery shopping more efficient. So I can go to the store knowing our list has exactly what we need. No more texting or calling Sally from the store to make sure I didn't forget anything. Plan to Eat offers a free, fully functional 14-day trial, no payment info required, so that you can easily see if it's right for you before you pay. And Choose Strong listeners, you can save 25% on an annual subscription to Plan to Eat. Sign up for your free trial at plantoeat.com/Sally. The coupon will be automatically applied to your account and can be used when you are ready to subscribe. Valid for new customers only when paying through the website. That's plantoeat.com/Sally to sign up for your free trial.
Okay, and we're rolling. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Choose Strong podcast. I am beyond thrilled to invite back a crowd favorite, my now very good friend. Before I was just my friend, but you're good friend, Andy. I have been so blessed by the feedback. It's all been directed toward you. About your story, the first podcast we did together. I told you when you walked in my house today, when I posted the video of seeing you, when you found me at UTMB, I literally got hundreds of responses to that. And everyone said, I love Andy. And so inviting you back today, it is my great joy to bring you into our new studio here at our house, a different studio.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like April.
Yeah, I know.
Not even that long. It was like 4 months ago when you were here last. But to everyone that's watching on YouTube, on Spotify, hello. I want to say thank you for joining us today. Thank you for allowing us to be in your ears. For those of you who have just pushed play because you are starting your run or a race or you've walked in to lift at the gym, well done showing up for your goals today. If anyone knows how to show up for their goals better than me, I'd say it's Andy Glaze, and he is here with us today, not only to spread his knowledge, his joy, his enthusiasm, his resilience. Today's episode is going to be really, really special. For those of you that are heading off to school, kids, I am waving to you right now. I am so proud of you. I hope that your school year is getting off to a great start, and I hope that you have goals that you have made for yourself, that you are choosing strong every single day. And to all of our friends who have wanted to remind us over and over that they're not just running when they listen to us, that sometimes they're lounging on the couch after a long day, they're making dinner, they're driving in the car. Thank you so much for being a part of the Choose Strong community. We love you. We are always cheering for you. And I am so excited for today's conversation. And I just know that you're going to leave this conversation having laughed a little bit, smiled a little bit, and I know that you will be so encouraged. So without further ado, Andy Glaze, here you are.
Yes.
How are you doing? I know that's like a loaded question, but let's just start with like today. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Yesterday I had to do 25 miles to finish out my 100-mile week. So, I'm a little sore, but
that's
I got it done.
Strong.
Yeah, I got it done.
Still going strong. The 100-mile weeks.
288. So
288 weeks strong.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And what's this hat you're wearing? Is this a hat
this is my new merch. I got merch now.
Okay.
I'm
Tell
famous.
me that you bought one. You brought one
I
for
should
me.
have. No,
Man.
I know I missed opportunity. I don't even this is I don't that my guy sent me this, and I don't even have a bunch yet, but
I love it.
I will send you one.
It looks like a good hat to run in. I see it's like a dry, there's some holes in it.
Yeah, but I think
come on, this is where you endorse it, Andy. Come on, go up.
Merch is so hard because it's so expensive to make, you know, I'm sure you know. So it's I haven't really figured all that out yet. So he just sent me prototypes, and then I've been trying to wear them to see what works and what doesn't work. But yeah, I'm going to hopefully get more designs, and, you know, everyone wants a shirt that says your mom can run a 5K, you know, because that's
I love that.
So, but we'll see.
that.
I mean, it's neat. I mean, I always like going to races and seeing people wearing your hats and stuff. And it's it'll be fun to go out and see the community wearing my stuff. So.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to wear your hat because, and I think a lot of the merch that, you know, fellow runners are putting out right now, there's typically a really good message behind it.
Yeah.
There's a spirit behind it as far as, you know, the spirit of the community and just that coming together. And when we are in a tough point in a race or even in training, it's nice to be wearing something that reminds you of someone that inspires you, or just a good message.
I agree. So but yeah, it's you know, it's fun. I'm messing around with all this stuff. It's new, and I'm out of my comfort zone, but you know, sometimes you got to get out of your comfort zone.
Absolutely.
A lot of this is all inspired from our last conversation. So, because I was doing none of this stuff, and then we talked, and then you sort of catalyzed me into looking at things a different way. And so here we are, you know.
I love that. Well, I'll tell you what, it's just me passing it along. I've been so grateful to have encouraging people in my life who have told me to be brave. It takes bravery and courage to try things that maybe you don't feel confident in, or you know, to kind of get over even imposter syndrome. I know, especially in the beginning, even when I was writing my book, I'm like, no one is going to read this. Who's going to read this? No one's going to buy this hat. Who's going to buy this hat? And I think it's, instead of wondering how many I was going to sell or how many people, or is there going to be big numbers, it's just how awesome if I could change one person's life with this, you know? And I'll tell you what, Andy, you just, since the podcast we did, I know that podcast, it changed a lot of people's lives. I mean, I felt that when just during the podcast as we were chatting, and the conversation that we had after we turned the mics off and turned the cameras off was really just me passing along a message that, you know, really good, encouraging people have passed on to me. It's like, you have a story to tell. We all do.
Yeah.
Your pain and the hardships and challenges that you went through in your life were not in vain. And I think that's incredibly difficult to say to a kid when they're in it, right? It's very hard. And it's not something people said that stuff to me, and I was like, I'd much rather just not be here. Like, I don't want you to tell me that I'm going to be stronger because of this. It's hard to understand when you're in it.
Yeah.
But you somehow were able to garner hope in all of that. And because you are a person of hope and chose to just keep on taking another step the same way you do in your races, ultimately your story has changed lives, and your book isn't even out yet. So,
and I'm hoping, the goal, obviously, same with your book, I'm sure, is just inspiring and helping people, you know, and I think, I hope that that's what it'll do.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, imposter syndrome, it's hard writing all this stuff down and then thinking what if it doesn't sell? What if, you know, you go through all those mental hardships, you know, but then at the same time you're like, well, what if it does sell? You know, you got to flip it around and be a little positive about it. So I'm positive and hopeful that it will help at least one person. So at the end of the day, that's probably the best thing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, our podcast has been around since 2022, and the conversation we had in April, that podcast is in our top 10 of all time listened.
Top 10 people, do you hear that?
Yeah, top 10. He's still making the top 10, you guys.
we got to listen to it more. We got to bump those numbers up.
Let's
get in the top 3.
5.
Top 3. Podium, baby.
I love it. Yeah. So to our listeners, if you have not listened or watched yet the first episode that we did with Andy. I believe it was it episode 100?
It was.
I think it
Yeah,
was.
yeah,
It was
it
so
was.
exciting, which is so cool. So it was the 100th episode. And I encourage you to go and listen to that. But we ended that episode and I said to you, you need to write a book.
Yep. You did say that.
Now, having just, I released my book in 2023. It took me 20 years to write. A big piece of it was fear, why I kept putting it back on the shelf. It was fear of criticism, fear of past pain and family members, coming out and saying things to me and just all digging up that hurt. I didn't want to face it. And then when I really started editing it, the year and a half, 2 years it took for me to edit it and send it to different editors, man, it was like, it definitely was a laboring, one of the hardest things I've ever done. Now, when I talked to you in April, it was like, I don't know, 5-6 weeks later, you said your book was done. And I was like...
I think it took me like 2 months.
Okay, 8 weeks.
Yeah. But I wrote 93,000 words in 8 weeks.
Which is crazy. So
Yeah.
I actually want to talk about this.
Yeah.
Because what I didn't realize after I released my book, and I just did self-publishing, I knew I was going to be a New York Times bestselling author. Like, that was not my goal for my book. I really wanted my book just to make a difference, but I didn't have a marketing plan. I didn't have a team. I didn't have anything. I just did selfpublishing.com and hoped that someone would kind of guide me to what it was I was supposed to do. And so after releasing that, I was contacted by so many people that were either working on their own book, self-publishing, or were wanting to know, how do you do it? What is the process like? But I think depending on your genre of writing, so if you're writing like a fictional fantasy sci-fi, that's a little different.
Right, it is,
than tearing your heart open, ripping open scars and saying, I'm now going to put this on pages. So I would love for you to just kind of talk us through this journey of writing your story.
Yeah, I mean, so I had also been sort of held back, mostly like I didn't really think people would be into it, but then also just time wise, how am I going to find time to write a book? I have a busy job, I run a ton, I race, have a family. And so I just literally just started by writing an hour a day. I found an hour a day somewhere, whether it was waking up earlier and doing it before my like morning run or like in the evening when the kids were asleep or whatever. I found that hour, and then that quickly changed from an hour to like every waking moment that I had where I wasn't doing anything. So I think I was doing like 6 hours a day towards the end, just because became obsessed. I became obsessed with writing and organizing it, and then you have to reread it and all these things. But I was just nonstop writing for those couple months. I did. I had an agent contact me, and I started working with him, and he kind of started guiding me through what I needed to do, which was super helpful. And he, he's helping me with like the cover art and getting it formatted and all those things that I don't know anything about. And then obviously I'm going to have to do an Audible at some point. He got me in touch with an editor that I've been working with. So like right now we did the first edit, which is the most intensive one. I think it took like 6 weeks because she had to read it multiple times, and basically 93,000 words is way too long. So it has to be like 70,000 or something, because you learn all these things, but like how thick the book is important, because if it's too thick, then it costs more money to print, and then they won't fit on the shelves, and like all these things that you're like, okay.
Who knew?
Yeah, who knew, right? And so she had to somehow cut like 20,000 words. So like multiple chapters had to get cut. And so she came back to me, and then I looked at her edits, and then she wanted me to add more stuff here or there. And so I had to write a couple more chapters, and then now we're at the second edit. So I'm hoping, maybe another month or so, and it'll be like pretty finalized, and then I can do the Audible, which will then, as I read it, I'm sure I'll make some more changes, because things won't sound right as you're reading. I'm sure you did too, like, make some changes, but it's been a journey. I read a book on how to write a book, because I like to like learn, learn how to do things. So I was like, well, I'm going to read this book on it. And I did learn a lot. More or less, it's super expensive to like do all this stuff. So, which has been interesting, but,
it is an investment.
It is an investment. Yeah.
Realize.
Yeah. And then it was like just silly things like cover art, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I have all these cool pictures. And then it's like, no, you have the pictures that you bought
Yes.
for personal use.
Yeah.
And then you have to start negotiating with the photographers.
And then they want
and they want
a
like
cut.
big bucks, and
Oh,
you're like,
yeah.
whoa, like
Yeah.
I'm gonna make like $1 a book here. Like,
Yes.
I can't give you $2 a book,
Yes. I dealt with that.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
I was like,
it gets crazy.
it gets crazy. And you're like, wait, I hired you to take pictures of me
Yeah, but
for me to have. And,
right, and
like
it's
your
like,
work, I'll give you credit on the inside
Yeah,
page.
yeah. So that was luckily like the cover picture Lauren took, so
Oh,
that
amazing.
will at least be good. But then I got Howie Stern. Like he took
Yes.
this really epic picture of me during Cocodona where it's like the sun rising on Eldon.
Oh,
And
he's such a great
yeah, it's like one of my favorite pictures. It's actually my Instagram bio picture and everything. But Howie was able to sell me that picture, which is awesome because
amazing.
back in the day.
Thank you, Howie.
Yeah,
for being
thank you, Howie,
cool.
for being awesome. But I bought Howie's first picture. That
Are
when
you
he first started
serious?
taking pictures.
And
I-
did he remember that?
Yeah, he's the one that told
Look
me.
at
Yeah, he's
that.
the one that told me. So I really wanted Howie to, be a part of my book somehow. Because, obviously he's an amazing photographer, but
He
then
is.
also he's a great guy. So, yeah, it was cool. Like, but Howie's very busy and, hard to get a hold of. He's not real, like, he's out living his life out in the mountains. So, but yeah.
So you finally nailed down the
So I
picture.
finally nailed it down and got that all handled. But, these are all these little things that, are hard. And, I announced to the world like, hey, I'm writing a book. And then everyone's like, well, when's it coming out?
Oh my
And they
gosh.
just think
and you're like,
I'm
I
like,
shouldn't have said
yeah.
anything. I should
like,
have said something
I was
when
building
it was done.
hype. Yeah, building hype. But at the same time, this is a process that is like extensive.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm hoping we'll have pre-sales out by like mid-October, like when I do Moab. Which is my next race. So, I'm hoping that we'll have pre-sales done.
Well,
by
I
then.
see people, they do pre-sales and it's like 8 months out. I'm like, your book's not even edited yet. And you're just showing the cover.
Right. Yeah. Well,
I mean, those people have big teams too behind them. And
I'm hoping that like the
millions and
book will be
millions.
done, Christmas time, like a Christmas book or something like that. So pre-sales will only be for like 2 months or like a month and a half. But I don't know. It's scary. It's exciting. It's, all the things.
How did you know where to start? What was there? Sometimes I feel like in writing, the introduction and the conclusion are sometimes the hardest because it's like I could start anywhere in my story. Also, how do I put a button on this entire thing to end it? Like, what's the final word? What's the final story?
Well, spoiler alert, the final sentence is that was hard. Because that's what I say at the end of every race.
I love that.
But
I love that.
yeah, I
writing
think
a book is hard.
It is. It was so hard. Emotionally hard, and then just time and everything. I mean, I just sat there and just cried and cried and cried, and then like reading it to myself, cried. It was very therapeutic, but then it was also opening a lot of wounds that I probably haven't thought about a whole lot for a long time. But to start, I wrote chapter ideas like down. I just spent a lot of time just coming up with all the like things in my life that I thought would be noteworthy. And then I kind of decided where I was going to start my life story, which was my teenage years where I was like bad and before I got sent away, and then just kind of built from there. So I kind of skipped my adolescence and my younger years because not super noteworthy or whatnot, but just kind of, so it kind of starts with like my downfall and then my rebuilding and then who I am now. And that's sort of how I structured the book. But to start, it was just like writing all the ideas down, Yeah. But
and
yeah.
When you're sitting in your writing chapters that are difficult to write, that process of, because you and I talked about this before, but it's like, that's hard. It's hard, especially because you're looking at things from a different lens.
Yeah.
I mean, I had said earlier, like when I sat down to do the Audible, some chapters were hard for me to read, especially when I had to speak in my mom's voice or my dad's voice, or just as like a little girl and realizing I'm a mom now.
Yeah.
And that the way I wrote the book was one to be you should be able to read it within a day or two. Like anybody should read it. It's very kind of elementary in a sense, but it's told from the heart of a child. But I just remember sitting down to read it in the studio and being like choking up because I'm a mom
Yeah.
and thinking like, I could never imagine my baby's going through this. This is so hard to like make sense of. And I had to restart and restart and restart again. But then also there are stories in there that even Eddie had never heard of before. So then you're like telling stories. You're like, I haven't told this story before. I haven't talked about this before. I haven't sat with this even for myself. And now I'm going to let the whole world
Right.
weigh in on it.
Yeah, Lauren definitely learned a lot about me, and then I'm a little nervous about, the fire service, because it's like they're going to be able to read it, and there's going to be parts of those stories that are pretty raw and emotional, and like when you're in the fire service, you're like, macho and tough and everything like that,
Totally.
and but it's just that's who I am, and the reason I am how I am today is these stories. So, if they judge me on it, then that's on them. I will survive. So
Well, you are where you are today, and the position is battalion chief.
there you go.
I said it right.
Yes.
Battalion chief because of what you've endured. Your pain and hardships, they didn't disqualify you.
Right.
They set you up to be the man that you are today. And I think that is actually what gives people more hope, because so many people today are searching for purpose in their life and how to come back or walk away from things in their life that has made them feel ashamed and has crushed their spirits. And people stay in that because they just think, well, I'm not good for anything anymore. I've been so deeply hurt or taken advantage of, or my life has been so hard and full of pain. What is there for me ahead? People are always going to judge me this way or see me this way. I know when I started college, in my mind, I was like, I will never, ever, ever let people know my story. I didn't tell anyone anything.
Right.
I didn't let people know that my mom died, that my dad went to jail, that my sisters at that time were in foster care. One was in jail. Like, I didn't want to be judged for my pain and my shame. I wanted to hide it. And I think that looking back and realizing, no, that doesn't disqualify my life. That is like what has fortified my life. That's why I'm strong. That's why I can walk through storms. That's why I can say, ultras are so easy.
Right.
These are nothing,
Yeah.
But no part of our story is in vain.
Well, I think like we have a lot of people that follow us that are at different points in their life, right? Like we're at this point in our life, but we have teenagers that follow us. We have, people that are like at the bottom, they're at the low point in their life and they're watching us, experiencing us like, and they're trying to get that motivation and they're trying to get inspired and they want to see a light at the end of the tunnel. And so I think it's good for them to see that we were at that point in our life too, at some point when we were their age, and we were able to turn it around. We were able to like claw our way out of that low and still succeed. Because I think when you're at that bottom, it's sometimes really hard to think that you could get your way out of it. You don't see, how am I going to navigate these waters? So when you can read a book or, experience somebody that has done it before, it gives you a little bit of hope. And that's what I hope, people get from it, because I do have a lot of young kids and I had a really hard teenage, time in my life and a lot of bad things happened to me. And, not everybody that was with me in those, boarding schools and whatnot, like survived the same way I did. Like some people like really gave up and some people, probably didn't make it. And some people are in darker places now than they were. And I didn't let that, crush me, but I certainly could have. So I hope that people that are in dark spots can listen to our stories and realize there is a way out. But, it requires hard work and, discipline and consistency and all the things, but there is a way out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can only imagine what that was like, having to sit down at your computer and go back to 17-year-old Andy and be there. You have to put yourself into those positions. I know writing my book, like same as you, another reason why it took me so long, I was like, I don't want this to necessarily be like, now I'm facing my story, so I'm going to do it while I'm writing. But then I realized it will always be a part of me.
Right.
Like if I'm glad I still feel it because it's shown me that I didn't become hard, that I still actually can look at this with a lens of compassion. And when I encounter people who have been through really hard moments in their life, I can actually have sympathy for them. I don't know if empathy is always the right word because I wasn't in that place with that person. I didn't have the same relationships that they had and feel the loss that way they did. But I can have sympathy for people and know like, yeah, that hurts so much. And you are validated in your pain. And it's a crazy time too. I'm really excited for your book to come out because our kids are growing up in a world where they're actually being taught to be desensitized to this stuff, to be desensitized to people suffering and pain. I mean, it's crazy. My son comes home all the time and he talks about some stuff that he sees online, which it's so hard to protect them from it. And
there's no way.
We always talk about social media. We have very good, healthy conversations about it, and we still make him turn his phone in at night. You don't get screens in your room, bud. Like it's something that for him, he's understanding. It's like he can watch any violent thing online and see a lot of it. And I think that to lose the ability to have compassion and to feel and which in turn is the way that we show kindness and love for people, remembering that like I've been there before and it is hard. And I want to tell you, you can get through that. But I'm curious, Andy, when you had to sit and go back to those stories and feel those all over again, how did you work through, okay, I'm going to tell this much. These details, okay, this makes sense to put these in. These, they don't need to be in here. What was kind of like your compass in how much to reveal? Because there's a lot of stories I know I took out. I'm like, this doesn't help anybody. It's just so deeply painful. We'll move on.
I just like talked mostly just about themes. So like, and not details.
Okay.
So like if something happened to me, I would talk like in general terms that like it had happened to me, but didn't get into the nitty gritty of
the moment
or how I was feeling or things like that. I just, like you said, I don't know if that's really helpful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know if somebody really needs to like read a detailed account of something horrible happening to me and how that would help them. But like understanding that it did happen to me will probably be helpful because if it happened to them, then they have their own set of experiences that are going to affect them and they'll understand. But like you said, it's like, it's not empathy because we're both going to have a different response to what happened. I mean, that's more or less how I dealt with a lot of it. Not a whole lot of like nitty gritty details. I'm 47, so it's like you start writing a book about. I could write 1,000. I could write 6 books about all the stories and everything that's ever happened to me. And when you start really writing and you realize like 300 pages is really not that many pages. It's not that many words. So there'll probably definitely be a book too, just because I have enough life stories that I can write another book easily. But I wanted to at least give the reader like an understanding of sort of like my downfall and then my rebuilding. So as much as I could do in 300 or whatever pages. So.
And was that something, is that kind of like what you learned in writing like a memoir type book? Did you have something that kind of helped you? Like, I know I did a lot of reading too, but I kind of learned that too. Like, is this helpful? Is this going to continue to pull them through the book or is this?
I mean, yes and no. Like, I kind of have a lot of faith in my editor. And I basically just told her, like, you're the editor, you're the subject matter expert. You're going to read this. You don't know me. You don't know anything about me. So you're going to read this. And then like, I need you to tell me what you feel like is nebulous. Like I don't need to put it in there, like I'm sure it means something to me, but if it doesn't move the story forward, then let's like, we'll take it out, and, hopefully she does a good job because, her edits will obviously mean a lot to the structure of the book, but I have faith. I mean, she is the subject matter expert, so
Yeah. Amazing.
well, yeah, we'll see. I more or less just wrote a lot of stuff down, and some of the chapters had like kind of duplicate information in different chapters because I didn't know where it should land.
Mhm.
I'm not a writer. I was a business major. I was like a computer dork. I wasn't in English. I took one English class in college because I had to, and I got a B in it, and I don't remember anything about it really. So I wouldn't consider myself like a writer, but like every day I journal, every day I do things like that. So I practice writing, but even like my journaling and stuff, like I don't know if it's good, it's more of a therapy for myself, and so we'll see, we'll see.
What was it like for Lauren to read it? Did she read the whole thing through, or is it
Well,
just a chapter
she
here
wrote
and
it
there?
like, cause every time I'd finish a chapter, I would like send it to her. So she read it completely out of order and everything. But, I mean, she's my biggest fan. So every time she wrote a chapter, she was like, that's the best thing I've ever read. And I'm like, okay. Like, calm down, and then like, obviously like, she liked hearing a bunch of the stories that she'd never heard before. And then when the editor cut, like, I'm like, hey, they're cutting chapter 4. She's like, I love chapter 4,
Yeah.
like she was like all invested. But it is what it is. It was good. I mean, she's my biggest fan. So,
Mm.
she loved reading it and like she loves my voice and all the things. I'm like, okay, well, it was good. I let a couple guys at work read a couple chapters and they enjoyed it as well. So,
That's
but
good.
I didn't get a whole lot of feedback other than, just a couple like really close friends.
Yeah.
So obviously my agent read it. He loved it, which is good because he didn't, doesn't
Are you
know
working
me.
with Mitch?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Mitch is
So
great.
yeah. And then the editor, she seemed to really, she wrote me really positive feedback. So she really liked it too. I mean, I'm always skeptical of anybody you pay that they're going to give you,
Yeah.
real feedback. But,
Yeah.
like I doubt she'd be like, this is the worst thing I've ever read. But, I honestly would appreciate feedback like that. If it is terrible, like, I can take, for becoming a battalion chief, we had to write a 10-page paper, which is kind of weird in the fire service. But so the first time I tested, I failed the battalion chief exam and did not get the job. And
Because of the essay?
no, but
Oh.
but like we're allowed to go back and read the feedback. And I thought I had written this amazing 10-page like thing. And I went back and I read the feedback and they hated it. And it was like, I mean, I got like they gave me like a 79 and an 80 and maybe a 78. And the feedback was so soul crushing, but it allowed me to then write a better essay the next time because I took their feedback and I went, okay, so this is what they're looking for. What I gave them was not what they were looking for clearly. And then I wrote an amazing essay the next time and got the job. So
Hmm.
I think sometimes that, negative feedback, or maybe that it shouldn't be called negative feedback, but that honest feedback is appreciated because if you're just standing around a bunch of yes men telling you that everything's great, you're not going to really produce like the best possible thing. So,
Yeah.
but
Well, I'm already endorsing your book and I haven't read it.
I'll get you to write an
Yeah.
endorsement on it.
I will always be up to read, review anything
All right.
that you put out. I think your story is incredible and you as a human are just amazing. And, as I had said when you first came, it's like there's a lot of books out there that people didn't write.
Yeah.
And I'm just such a big fan of people taking the time and having the courage to write their own story. It's not easy.
No.
And having already known your story, I think it's already wonderful. And I know that being able to get your book is just going to show you how much I support and love you, Andy. And I know that there's going to be thousands, hopefully millions of other people that are going to do the same thing. So we're going to keep pushing it out
I
here
like
on
millions.
the show.
Let's do that.
Yeah, let's do millions. We're going to keep pushing on the show.
Uh,
And I'm so excited for you. I'm so inspired by you. I can't believe the speed in which you put this book together. But sometimes I think that when things fall together quickly, it's not because it was done half-heartedly. It's because it's been there all along. It was meant to be. That story has been you've lived such a full life in your short 47 years. And
Short, yes.
Yes, short. It is. You're 47 years young, and I think that it's for such a time as this. That book is meant to be. Now is the right time to write it. And so, of course, it flowed from you. You didn't have to sit and wonder, like, It's like you put in your time and you have lived some really unique experiences, some really dramatic, painful, challenging, but also some really powerful overcoming. The resiliency you've had, the strength and the fortitude. I mean, you've earned that. You've walked in it. And so obviously that you were able to sit and write that book, quickly. You do have 6 books in you.
I have a weirdly photographic memory when it comes to trauma. So it's like, it's a blessing and a curse.
It is a blessing and a curse.
I can go back and relive every moment, 30 years ago, no problem. I can still remember what things smell like and, what people were wearing and all those sorts of fun things that were not traumatic and didn't really matter to me. I can't remember anything. People's names, phone numbers, things like that. I don't have a photographic memory like that, but when it has a lot of impact, I remember it really well. So, and I have a best friend that's been telling me I need to write a book for 10 years, and so it's I'm always okay, I'm going to do it. And then, cause his wife's an author. And,
okay.
So, I've been organizing it in my head for 10 years, but then never took the time to, do it until you put the fire in me. And then I was all right, I'm doing it. And, so, yeah.
Oh, I love it. Well, I'm so excited for you. And like I said, we're going to be updating the listeners as it gets closer and helping you push it out.
I appreciate it.
I'd love to see you succeed.
Well, like I said, if I succeed, cool. If not, it'll touch somebody, you know? And, at the end of the day, I'm still a battalion chief. So, I still have my day job, and night job, day and night job. So I'll be okay.
Well, that's a good time. This is a good time to just kind of pivot. Speaking of your night job, I was thinking your night job is a runner, running through the night. No, it's working through the night. These 96-hour shifts that you have, which I know you have one coming up, but you're coming off. I saw you in April, and then since April, you have logged some pretty intense races.
Yeah.
And, we're seeing this rise of the 100+ mile distance, whether it's, Cocodona 250 or these backyard ultras that are going for hundreds of miles.
Crazy.
More and more people are coming into the sport like ever before. And I love that for a lot of people, you're kind of the first touch point for them. This joyful guy that I think in the beginning, this is what I love so much about our first conversation is that you have been known for a long time of logging these 100 miles a week, of doing these big races, running in fun outfits and, smile. Your
fashion.
Yeah, fashion, big fashion. Good job, Lauren.
Yeah.
But I think, when we sat down and we had our conversation, the hundreds of messages that I got from people that said, I had no idea. I am now an even bigger fan of Andy. It's been really encouraging for me. And I hope that now that more of your story is getting out there, your book is getting out there, that when you're going to these races, that you're also meeting more people. I feel you are.
Yeah.
I've seen, as just your friend, your viewership, your interactions online has grown, and a lot of the messaging that people are saying is just so sweet. Anytime I post anything about you, it's always really kind, loving, appreciative comments that people have. Obviously, we're always going to have our critics and random, spawns coming out and saying the weirdest thing. But I think that it's amazing how a single matchstick can shine so brightly in a dark room. And I think that is definitely what you are, is you're such a bright light in this sport. And so now as you are continuing on in these races and you're growing this following of people who have, appreciated you overcoming, you're showing us how to do it in ways that matter more than just the belt buckle that you're getting. So I'd love for you to kind of talk about the races. How's your experience been these last few months? Tell us about the highlighted races that you've done. Let's just kind of dive in.
Yeah. So the last month I did Crazy Mountain in Montana, which I really want you to do. And then I did Leadville 2 weeks later, and then did UTMB like 10 days after that. So I think it's like 100 or 300
It's over 300 miles.
300 and like 10
UTMB
miles.
is like 110 now.
Yeah. And then I think it's like 80,000 feet of vert. So
equal descent in all those?
Yeah,
Are all those
equal descent. Yeah.
And that's the hardest part.
Oh yeah, especially in UTMB. Like my quads are still. I can run uphill, but like the downhill right now, my quads are like still sore.
It's just taking your body and slamming it on the ground every downhill step you take.
You think that downhill is going to be easy, but
at
UTMB, when you're losing like 1,600 feet in 1 mile, and it's all roots and rocks and everything,
and baby head rocks.
You're like leaning back and like trying not, because if you lean forward and you fall, it's going to hurt a lot.
You'll be airlifted off the side of the mountain the way Sage Canaday did. Oh, and he tried.
Exactly. So you cannot lean forward on those downhills. So you just end up breaking with your quads, and it just blows them out. So
that was August.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was a couple weeks ago, right? So I think we ended on like September. No, we ended at the last day of August. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like 15 days ago or something. But
you also did Cocodona.
I did Cocodona. I did Arizona Monster 300. We talked right after I'd done the Monster. And that's it. I took the summer off. My son and I and Lauren hiked the Inca Trail in Peru.
Yeah, I love following that. That was amazing.
Lauren struggled a little bit, but that's
hard.
Yeah, it was epic.
That's not just a casual, hey, we're going to go hike.
It's very, you're like above 11,000 feet most of the time. We were sleeping at 12,000 feet. Where do you really, besides doing Mount Whitney, there's not a whole lot of 12,000 foot campsites.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think I got terrible diarrhea out there, which was fun to have,
was that food, water
could have
related?
been food. We had, all the water out there, they have to boil. So you're drinking like lukewarm water the whole time. It could have been the water, could have been the fruit, could have been a million things, but that was
rough.
That was
Did you have anything to help combat that?
No, it was like, no.
Losing weight every day.
Yeah, it was rough. So those poor restrooms that they had built in,
destroyed them.
Destroyed them. And it was just, it was terrible. But, it was fun. It was beautiful. They have, this is just a small thing, but like, there's tons of orchids out there. I love orchids. Mm-hmm. And like, I was able to like take pictures of all these wild orchids, which was just like really cool. To see like, you go to Trader Joe's, you see all these orchids, you're like, oh, but then to see them like growing in the wilds, it was really pretty neat.
That's amazing.
So, and then all the other flowers. I love flowers and, all that stuff.
Does an orchid have a special meaning to you?
No, just that I just like the way they are and everything, it's just something soothing about a flower that lasts for so long without, just dying. But yeah, I've always like been kind of fascinated with flora and fauna. So, and then the birds and all that stuff. So took a lot of pictures of a lot of plants and a lot of birds and, and it was just really great spending that time with my son. He was not as, into it, but
he kind of had to be a little bit, whether he wanted to or not.
He will look back. I am positive that when he is in his 30s or 40s, he will think back that when he was 15, he went and climbed the Inca Trail with his dad.
Right?
Who gets to do that?
Who gets to do that? He will appreciate it when he's already done so many cool things with you.
I know. It's so funny is like, I was talking to him like yesterday and I go, so are we ready to start training for another marathon? And because he told me when it was done, like, never again, we are not doing that. And then he literally says to me, maybe a half marathon. I was like, yes, buddy. And I was like, well, the half can be part of the marathon training. And then he goes, you can't film it. And I was like, okay, so I'm back in. So I think we might be, starting to train for another marathon at some point. It's funny because even with him, now it's been, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. He's already forgotten how terrible it was.
Right.
And
it's
painful. And now he's like, but he remembers like how fun it was to be done and all that stuff. And I'm like, yes. Yes, I gave him his space. We're never going to do another one. It's totally fine. But now he's thinking about it. So
I love that. I love the investment you put into your family, your wife and your kids, creating these memories, these experiences. That's ultimately the most valuable thing we can do,
Oh
right?
yeah, it's so much. It's so fun to watch them flourish and do well. So yeah, it's been good.
So that was your July.
Yeah, June and then July. So Crazy Mountain was at the very end of July. So
Mhm.
June or July worked a ton. I mean, the thing is it's fire season's been a bit nuts, and so I've been working a lot, and because of that, like the training's been off, so I've kind of just had to fake it because I haven't been able to put the time. Everyone's like, "Oh, you run 100 miles a week," and I'm like, "I do," but when you're training for a mountain ultra, you want to actually go into the
Into the
mountains and
mountains.
run. Like I ran Langley once. Normally I'm up there doing it quite a bit, and I'll be at San Gorgonio a bit, but work's just been so crazy this year that I haven't been able to put the training that I want in. But oh well, it's
Yeah.
like, what can you do? Like it's like my job takes priority, and then all this running stuff is just for fun. So I didn't do as well as I wanted to in the races, but at the same time I got them done.
You got to the finish line of all of them.
Yeah, I finished
Yeah.
all of them. Crazy Mountain was really hot this year, which was weird.
Tell us about Crazy Mountain. That's not a
Okay.
race we've talked about a lot on this podcast.
Yeah.
We've talked about Leadville and UTMB before, which we can still pivot to. But Crazy Mountain, it's a newer ultra, I think just in the last 5 years.
Yeah, I think maybe 4. It's gone on for 4 years.
Okay.
And
You are of many people who tell me I need to do that.
well, it's yeah, the race director is like, it's a female race director. She's like really, really nice, and she's like she owns a cattle ranch, so it's like she's like a true cowgirl. And
what state is this in?
It's in Montana.
Yep,
It's
Montana.
outside of Bozeman, in a little teeny mountain range called the Crazy Mountains. It's very remote. You feel very remote when you're out there. It's basically a point to point. You have a little out and back at one point, but it's basically a point to point, and you climb, I'd say, like 6 decent mountains. 4 are like over 10,000 feet.
Oh.
And then 2, which are not, is maybe like they're 9 or something like that.
What's the total climbing in that race?
I think it's like 22.
Oh, yeah, that's solid
It's
for 100.
and this year she got it as a Hard Rock qualifier.
Wonderful.
So it's a
That's
Hard Rock
good.
qualifier and a Western States qualifier.
Amazing.
Yeah, and the Crazy Mountains have a similar feel to the Sierra Nevadas. So
Oh.
like when you're out there running it, you'll feel comfortable. It makes me kind of feel like I'm at home. Same kind of trails, and like you're running up by Bishop or something like
Andy,
that.
the wildlife in Montana is not the same as it is
No,
here.
no, it's not.
And
no.
and when people tell me about Montana, I'm like, oh man, I am petrified of grizzly bears.
I am too.
Deeply.
The-
So how do you get over that?
So the Crazies traditionally do not have grizzly bears, but this race, like right before the race, somebody allegedly had seen one, and so I ran with bear spray, but never saw anything. Nor did anybody else.
Were you by yourself a lot?
I was by myself a lot, yeah, but it's like, what are you gonna do? I mean, I'm more scared of moose than grizzly bears.
Yeah, moose are.
Yeah, so
Aren't they one of the most deadly
yeah,
animals?
yeah, and then there's mountain lion. I mean,
Yeah.
I think there's a race called, is it the Wyoming Range 100? Have you heard of that one?
No.
That's a real remote 100.
Wyoming too is.
Yeah, and I think that you have to worry more about grizzly bears than this race. But I talked to a bunch of elk hunters, and because bears eat elk, and so if you hunt elk, you hate bears. And so if you talk to elk hunters, then they can give you a better perspective of like where the bears are, because they're acutely aware. And a lot of elk hunters were saying like that there's not grizzly bears in the Crazies right now. So I brought the bear spray because Lauren made me.
Right.
Yeah. The previous, this is my
I
second time
understand
doing
that.
it. The first time I did it, I bought the bear spray, and then I
You
made a
left it.
video, and then I didn't bring it, and Lauren was so mad at me.
Well, it's so big. It's like cumbersome.
Oh yeah,
It's not like the little pepper spray.
no, it's like
It's
like
a
this big.
huge
It doesn't weigh much,
canister.
but it's giant.
Yeah.
So I think it weighs half a pound. So you
Yeah.
feel it.
Totally.
But I did bring it this time. Didn't see anything, and I think I was with people a lot of the time, or at least would see them here or there. Not I wasn't as by myself as I normally am.
Okay.
So, but the nice thing about the race is there's water everywhere, and so I just brought one of those filters that goes in your water
Yes.
bottle, and just
I love those.
I didn't ever get water at the aid stations. I would just drink it out of all the
And it's the
streams, and
best
it's
water.
cold and just
Oh, it's so
refreshing,
good.
and has that delicious spring water,
I love that
Yeah.
filter. That always saves me in 200s.
Yeah.
That's like non-negotiable when I do 200s.
Exactly.
That's
So,
amazing.
um,
So it starts early in the morning.
yeah, it's
It's
an
in
early,
it's in the crazy mountains.
yep, and it's kind of like hard to find places to stay and things like that, but
Okay.
it's not too bad. You basically have a start point. There's like a parking area. You start, you head up into the mountains. There's a bunch of aid stations that your crew can get to.
That's nice.
Finish line's really nice.
You typically don't have crew though.
No, I don't have crew. No.
Mhm.
But the aid stations are like really. At one point, one of the aid stations was taking like flatbread and making pizzas on the grill.
Oh, that's
and so
amazing. Did you get a
good-
cheese pizza
Well,
going on?
not because I'm vegan. So
Oh,
no, but
my
they
gosh.
they know I'm vegan, so they made me like like no cheese pizzas, and they were like
That's
really good.
amazing.
Yeah. So, and then the buckle is like a true cowboy buckle with like turquoise and everything in it, and she makes a different one for every time you finish. So the first year's different than the second, and the third, and the fourth. So now I'm like addicted. I'm like, well, now I got to go back and get
You
the
gotta-
third year buckle.
Do you ever wear your buckles?
No, never. I don't even do anything with them. Honestly, I haven't been a Hoka box.
Where do you display any of your medals?
No, nothing. I have
Yeah.
I have a bathroom that's mine, and
Lauren does it right.
yeah, and then it's like that's the only part of the house that's
It is
mine.
so nice to have your own bathroom, isn't it?
Oh, you have to have your own bathroom. And I have like stuff in there, but beyond that, no.
You have stuff in your own little bathroom that
Yeah.
no one ever uses.
Yeah, that's it.
Mhm.
When Lauren and I got together, I did have because I was like a single guy, and so I had crap all over the walls and my buckles and everything.
You had to impress her.
Well, it was just like that's because it was like single guy life,
Yeah.
like I used to have x-rays of my feet on my wall.
No, you
that was the
didn't.
artwork, because at one point I got bone spurs in my heels, so they x-rayed my feet, and I was like, can I get copies of those? And then so I got them, and I printed them out, and then I framed them. And so like when you walk into my house, it was like all these x-rays of my feet, because I was a runner, so and then Lauren came in and was like, yeah, we're gonna get rid of those and like put family photos up or something.
Also, this might be a deal breaker,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
we'll keep
so-
talking.
Yeah, I don't have any of that stuff anymore. It's all in a box. But
So you get excited for these buckles and then you hide them away.
well,
I mean, I'm not one to talk. I do
I
the
like
same
to
thing.
see them, and they're cool, and then
Yeah.
it's a good memory. Like
I like that you show them on social media for people
Yeah.
to see.
I think some people. My first buckles, I was like really. I mean, I remember when I first started doing ultras. I used to do I had the sticker, the 50K sticker.
Oh,
I
yeah.
put that on my car.
Oh,
and then it
yeah.
was like, then the 50 mile, boom. then I got the 100K, boom. Then I got 100 mile.
The white
And-
oval one.
Yeah. And then I was like, all right. I was like, I eventually stopped doing
200,
that. But-
240,
Yeah.
250,
Yeah.
300.
Yeah. So, but like
Your whole back window.
for a while, that was like, that was a thing. Cause I was like, really proud and,
Yeah.
but, the more you do,
Your marathon's my warm up
Yeah,
sticker.
the more you do, the more you realize you're like, it's,
Yeah.
I don't like to like put out one of my favorite things in a race is when I'm talking to someone, they have no idea who I am. Like they're like, oh, have you run 100 before? I'm like, yeah, run a couple,
Yeah.
like I try to like downplay it if they don't know who
Yes.
I am,
Yes.
it's like, oh, how many have you done? Oh, like,
But it's not before long that someone comes
Right, and
walking
then-
up and they're like, you don't know who this is.
right. Or the worst is in like Leadville, I was running with a guy, he had no idea who I was. And like, when you do the like,
Oh, yeah. There's
and
a few.
literally every single person's like, hey, Andy, hey, Andy, hey, Andy.
Mhm.
And then this guy like turns, he goes, who the hell are you? I'm like, well, I have a small social media presence,
A small.
Yeah,
I know.
A couple people know me.
A couple million people
Yeah,
know who I
yeah.
am.
So, but yeah, it's refreshing sometimes. A lot of people in our sport are not on social media.
Yeah.
They don't consume it in any way. And I have like a lot of followers that only follow me on like Strava.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the only place they see me.
Mhm.
Because they don't like social media and they don't want to
Yeah.
participate. And like,
I don't
that's
blame
cool.
them. If you're like me, you're ready for a total refresh, starting with your skin. And that's exactly why I'm loving iRestore's latest skincare products. Their Renew Calming Facial Spray is amazing, especially for dry skin. It gives instant hydration, calms irritation, and helps firm your skin. And when used before the Illumina red light face mask, it enhances the benefits of the therapy. I also suggest pairing the Renew Calming Facial Spray and anti-aging eye cream with your Illumina face mask so you can see even better results. Give your skincare the love it deserves. For a limited time, subscribe and save 25% off or more, plus free shipping on iRestore Skincare, and our listeners are getting a huge discount on the iRestore Illumina face mask when you use code SALLY at iRestore.com. So head over to iRestore.com and use code SALLY for our show's exclusive discounts. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Unlock your best skin with iRestore.
Fall has arrived, and between back to school, busier routines, and shorter days, finding time to cook can be tough. That's why we love Factor. Their chef-prepped, dietitian-approved meals make it easy to stay on track and enjoy something comforting and delicious no matter how hectic the season gets. You can choose from a wider selection of weekly meal options, including premium seafood choices like salmon and shrimp, at no extra cost. We know it's going to be a good week here at the McCrae household when we open our fridge and it's stocked with Factor meals. From more choices to better nutrition, that's why 97% of customers say that Factor helped them live a healthier life. Feel the difference no matter your routine. We use Factor, and you should too. Eat smart at factormeals.com/Sally50off and use code Sally50off to get 50% off your first box. Plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's code SALLY50OFF at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box. Plus free breakfast for 1 year. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase.
So after we talked last time, I didn't get rid of my Blogspot, but I did get a Substack. Is that what it's called? Yeah. So now I have a Substack, and somebody actually hit me up the other day and was like, I don't have any social media anymore, but I'm so happy I found you on here. Because I just write my like morning journal on Substack every morning.
Yeah, that's cool.
And, I think I have 200 followers. So
that's incredible. Well, there you go. Hey, you're going to have like 1,000 after a few thousand after this. If you are on Substack, make sure you're subscribed. Are you just Andy Glaze on there? Or what are you?
I'm sure I am. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So Crazy Mountain, the big pull for you there, obviously the beautiful buckle.
Remoteness.
The remoteness. It is a true mountain course, which those are my favorite courses.
I mean, Hard Rock qualifier, it's going to be hard.
Yeah. Have you done Hard Rock yet?
No, I've never
That's so weird.
I've never done Western States either.
You haven't been selected for Hard Rock?
How do you get selected?
I've heard lots of different ways on how to get chosen. I mean, they say it's a lottery. I don't think it's a lottery, but I am surprised that they haven't picked you yet.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe this year will be the year.
Maybe this will. I hope
Same with Western. Like I've never gotten into Western either.
That's how many years have you been?
Well, I mean, the problem is I had like 7 or 8 years in, and then did we talk about last time how I got stuck in that mudslide in Japan and almost died during UTMF?
No.
Okay, well, I had a really traumatic experience at UTMF.
Okay, wait, hold back. Why did I not know this? When was this?
I think it was like 2018 or 19.
So 2018, you did
UTMF, which is Ultra Trail Mt Fuji. Which,
in Japan.
Yeah, and it was the year that I think they've had a lot of bad weather, rain.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was on top of one of those mountains and monsoon, and then like the whole side started to like mudslide down, and so you're on a mountain and it started to mudslide down, and it was like nighttime, so, and then it was foggy, so like headlamps reflecting off the fog, you couldn't really see, so we were all like hugging trees and then like having to slide from tree to tree, and it took me, I forget what the number is, but I think it took me like 7 hours to go 2 miles. to get off this
No
mountain.
way.
Yeah, and then they ended up canceling the race because the weather was so terrible. I
Tell
think
me you got a buckle for that.
No. I think I only made it like 40 miles before
my God.
before this all
Okay,
went down.
how terrifying was that?
Well, it was bad, and so like I fell out of love with running after that because it was such a traumatic experience that I was like, I love running and I love ultras, but I don't want to die, And when you're out there in survival mode, almost dying, something kind of changes in your brain, and so I didn't really.
Okay, can I just pause for a second?
Yeah.
Knowing like the survival schools that you went through,
Yeah.
you were an incredible outdoorsman. I mean,
Right.
just in your own right, you are. On top of being, you save people's lives. That's what your job is.
So I know what real danger is.
So you know what real danger is, and you actually have a sense of what to do in
It
those
was just-
situations. I can't imagine all around you too seeing people struggle.
Right. We were all kind of, and of course, like, I think there was only like 5 Americans that did it, so nobody spoke English. So, that was, I couldn't communicate with anybody, and we were all.
Oh my gosh, Andy.
Yeah, it was.
You were hanging onto trees?
Yeah, because like, the mud would be like moving, and like if I were to get away from something that I could grab hold of, I would have just, gone down and gone to where, Like,
Oh my gosh.
so it was like,
Did anyone die in that?
I don't, again, lost in translation, and, I don't know if people got injured. I don't know anything because the race got canceled, and then that was, that was my experience. So
Oh my God.
I didn't do another ultra after that for, I think, like 8 or 9 months. And I think that was in like April or May. So I didn't do another 100 to qualify for Western. So that year I
washed all your entries
I washed
away.
all my entries. And then I was so mad about it that I didn't apply for like several years after that. And then in the last couple of years, I'm like, all right, I'm going to start applying again.
Yeah.
So I think I only have like 4 tickets or something like that. But Ultra Sign Up has that. They're doing a contest right now to like get people a free entry. So I'm like, I'm doing the contest and hoping I'll get in. I messaged them like, please get me in.
I'm going to go see Dave Callahan next week. I'll just kidding.
I met all those guys
Just
at that
kidding.
Strava, one of those Strava
They can't do
conferences.
anything, but
I
it is nice that
Yeah.
you met him at the Strava camp?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're great guys, but I'm rooting for you. I hope
Yeah.
that you get into that.
Eventually I'll get in. I'm not.
Well, Western States is a big, what I'm seeing more and more. I know you experienced this at UTMB. People are traveling great distances just to spectate now.
Yeah.
And before it wasn't like that.
No.
You were either volunteering, crewing, pacing, or running.
Right.
That very
UTMB
few
was
people.
insane this year. With
It
how
was
many
insane.
people-
I most people I met were there to spectate.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. It's like it's like the World Series or the World Cup or whatever. Yeah. It's like.
And people travel from all over the world. It wasn't like, hey, we came up from Germany or came up from Austria. It was like, oh yeah, we came from Kansas. I'm like, to watch the race? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
that's
I mean,
amazing.
it's a vibe, man. That whole week
It
is
and
a
it's a
vibe.
beautiful part of the world.
But it's fun, and there's all these group runs and all these things going on. I mean, it's amazing how different it's been since we first started. When they would have only a few Americans, and like it was sponsored by weird brands and it had nothing to do with ultra running.
Yeah, that's so true.
So
that's so true. Okay, your Mt Fuji story is like I'm trying to like put myself into that situation of what that would be like. It was nighttime.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
so I got
all
to the top of the money
things that are
right when the sun
terrifying.
was setting, and this crazy fog bank mixed with pouring rain, and it was like, in Japan it's like a monsoon.
Yes.
So it was like a monsoon like hit, and
Eddie's been to Japan a couple of times. It's his favorite country in the world.
it's my favorite.
And
country,
he has
too.
begged me to do that race.
Oh yeah, don't do it.
My entire career. He's like, it's my favorite country. I love the culture. I love the food. Please do that race. And it always just fell at a weird time. I think the race went away for a couple years after that.
It did, and they've moved it like 6 times because there must be like a curse on it. We had perfect weather after that day, and there was perfect weather before it. It was just the day of the race that monsoon hit, and they've changed it a bunch of times to try to like, get better weather, and I don't know what it is about it, but
Yeah.
I mean, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was amazing until that happened. So
I don't blame you. I think, and you're someone even at that time, 2018. I mean, you'd been doing the races for a while.
yeah,
And to be so like move to say like, okay, I could have lost my life. I
Right.
don't know if this is worth it.
Yeah.
We have a lot of listeners that don't run ultra. That's like not just ultra runners listen to our podcast. We have a lot of road runners and people that do other sports. And
I mean, they're on some level, ultras can be dangerous,
they
but like,
absolutely.
but like in general, they're not.
In
In
general,
general,
they're not.
like
Yeah.
you're on safe trails and like
Yes.
there's support all over the place, and most
Mhm.
weather conditions don't get too extreme unless you're really doing some like mountain races. Like occasionally you can have some really bad weather come and go,
Mhm.
but in general, they're pretty safe.
And there's so much activity.
Yeah.
I think that, yeah, we are out in the mountains, but those areas are getting more activity than they've ever gotten.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's volunteers, it's race directors out there, it's pacers, runners. And so it's like, it's busy to a degree. At some point, someone's going to come upon you. At some point, there's going to be a sweeper, some, you know,
Exactly.
you aren't left out there for nothing. But it is wild, some of the stories that I've heard over the year, particularly international races where there have been some horrifying experiences. I mean,
Well, all
people
those
freeing to death.
yeah,
I
the
mean, people
Chinese-
freezing to death.
Yeah. That was in China, and that was crazy.
Well, I've heard it in the Alps too.
Oh,
There's been
really?
some races over the years too where people you have to respect the mountains.
Yes.
And weather changes on a dime. It's
At UTMB this year, I had my long sleeve shirt on, I had my puffy jacket on, and then I had my windproof, waterproof jacket on, and then I had my waterproof pants on, and then 2 pairs of gloves, and I was still cold.
yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know what else I could have worn, you know? I mean,
That's all the required gear. That's
yeah,
why
it got
people complain
really,
about the required gear.
really cold up
Mhm.
on the top, and everybody was cold. Like,
Yeah.
and you know, so I saw people literally running with their space blankets like wrapped around them.
It was pretty smart.
You
but,
know, yeah.
but they're suffering, right?
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like
we were all
feeling it.
we were all suffering.
What's some good advice for people when they get caught in that? I mean, there's people that are doing their first mountain race this year that actually are afraid of weather, of things going wrong. When it's super cold, when you have all your stuff on,
Yeah,
it's hard to move. It's hard to
it is. I mean, and you
keep a
slow
good
down,
pace.
and when you
Yeah.
slow down, you get colder. I think, you know, those hot hands, those like I hate cold hands, and like
So do I.
and it's
the
like that will
worst.
shut me down faster than anything else.
Yes.
So I would say
It's painful.
Oh, and then you can't grip your poles.
Yeah,
and,
you can't
know,
open your nutrition.
nutrition, like, yeah. So definitely hot hands for your gloves. And then you can also put one in your beanie too.
Mhm.
Like you lose most of your heat through your head. So if you can like create heat up here, then it'll make the rest of your body feel warmer. But you know, a really good windproof, waterproof jacket will really like help out.
It's
'cause
worth the
wind
investment.
yeah. I mean, definitely $300 to $400 for a jacket.
Yeah.
And you're going to get it and you're like, this is a piece of paper.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, well, it's only going to weigh a couple ounces, which is great. You can get it into something like this, but it will break that wind, and wind will chill you faster than anything, especially when you're
Mhm.
moving slow. So same with the pants, some good windproof, waterproof pants. Those tend to be cheaper.
Mhm.
I think I found a good pair for like $60-$70 on
Mhm.
Amazon. So the jacket, you know,
That's your lifeline.
yeah. And then, you know, I always like go on, there's those websites that like rate gear, and I'll be like lightest possible, you know, backpacking gear. So I'll get the lightest puffy jacket, the lightest everything, because we have to carry
You
it.
love doing research.
I do. I do.
I love that
And
about you.
I don't want to do the research, but I want to see what other people have done, you know?
Mhm.
And then I will buy it, and then I battle test it myself, you know? So normally the gear I have, I've, you know, put through the ringer. So, which is good, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, really light puffy jacket for warmth. And then, yeah, a good beanie. They make, you know, windproof beanies as well. So
Mhm.
you get windproof, waterproof beanies will be clutch. That's the other thing. If it's raining and windy, and it's like, and you get wet, like it started to rain. We all had to put on all our stuff, and it was just pouring rain. So I'm just like, you get your pack out and you're putting your pants on where you're already soaking wet, you
Yep.
know, and it just becomes a big cluster, you know,
Mhm.
but,
And moving, I think one of the most dangerous things is it's easy to want to slow down so much or even stop and sit on a rock because you're so miserable.
Yeah.
And I think
Not advised.
so dangerous.
You really have to lock in on, I have to get to that aid station.
Yes.
And just,
get
the
to the
aid
next
station will be warmer. It'll be dry. It'll have warm soup.
You can reset.
You can, I was like squeezing out my gloves and doing, all that stuff. Actually, my hands got so wet that
they prune up.
Yeah, they turned, like, I got trench feet on my hands.
No
basically.
way.
Like the skin started to flake off because they were wet for like 8 hours, so, and then you're gripping your poles. I actually fell so hard, I thought I had broke my hand. I don't think, it's still sore, but like it swelled up so big, you couldn't even see like the veins in my hands, like,
oh my god.
And it was like purple. But
when was that?
That was during like that first night. Because I fell, like I was holding my poles, and when I fell, I came straight down.
Oh my gosh.
Like I punched the ground. So then for like 80 miles, my hand was like swollen and purple and like, yeah.
How painful.
It was,
and you had to hold on to your...
And you still had to hold my poles because I had
time.
another 20,000 feet of vert to...
you hadn't even hit the hardest part of the course yet.
No, not even. That was like, yeah.
So you added another challenge because it just wasn't hard enough.
No,
Andy.
I was like, yeah, let's do it with a broken hand. But I don't think it broke. I think I just must have sprained something in there,
So UTMB this year, in your opinion, this was your 6th time that you did UTMB.
Yeah.
If you had to rate it 1 through 6, so all 6 years being the hardest one, 6 is the hardest, 1 is the easiest. What would you rate that one?
The first night was the hardest, but the overall race, it would probably be like the second hardest.
The second hardest.
Yeah,
of
because
all the UTMBs.
Because after that first night, like as soon as we got, the amazing climb when you get up and you're about to drop down into Italy.
Yes.
And it's like, you see Mont Blanc right there.
Yes.
It's all like, at that point, the rain was gone. We had this beautiful view and like the rain never came back. It was sunny and nice the whole rest of the race. So we just had to suffer the start to that first night. But, like, I think we were talking, 2017 or 2018 when it rained the entire time and snowed on us and everything.
Snowed.
That was...
And fog.
That was...
Mud
that
up
was,
to your shins.
That was...
Everyone finishing their storm kit.
I ran that in Clifton's, which is a road shoe. Yeah. Like, so I was literally...
Zero traction.
No traction.
It was just
it was all mud.
skiing
Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah. Because I used to run ultras in Clifton's because I could go fast.
Yeah.
But...
Pretty sure you finished in front of me that year.
Well,
I crawled my way. I remember just being lost in the fog.
Yeah.
And slowly collecting people around me. There's like 10 of us. I had no idea where we were going. This is before GPS was on your watch.
Right.
Remember
and it felt
that?
like those climbs in the fog, you just felt like you were going up forever.
Yeah.
You're like, when does this...
Yeah.
Where am I?
Are we going to the top of Mont Blanc? Because it feels like
I had no idea where... you don't know where you are. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, oh, man.
I remember that year, I think all the American women, at some point, we were all running together crying.
Yeah.
Because we were so miserable. We had been absolutely crushed by this weather, and there was no amount of gear that we could have worn to have protected us. It just wasn't enough.
So much snow.
I
was telling people, because like the snow, like the whole mountain was white when we were up at the tops, but like the snow that year, that was like, I remember climbing in like 6 inches of powder.
Yeah.
And then the powder was just coming down. And it was
and so cold.
And
cold. Windy.
Yes.
It was
And it was snowing during the day and it was snowing at night. Anytime you climbed a mountain, it was snow. So
it was easy to think that year that I might get hypothermia.
Yes.
I'm really far from an aid station. Even like 6 miles from an aid station might be 4 hours for me at how slow
we were. Everyone was so slow.
Everyone was
couldn't
slow.
Move fast.
Yeah. So you went through that. That probably helped you get through this past year.
Yeah,
You're it's been worse.
Well, and the thing is, I've done it so many times. I know what's ahead of me. So like when you're up on that ridgeline and you're just so cold, I'm like, well, I know like just right over there, we're going to drop down and it'll probably warm up. Eventually you're gonna drop down below the snow line.
Yeah.
As soon as you drop down below the snow line, like I instantly could feel my hands again, everything.
How many times have you dropped into Switzerland and you're like, why is it nicer here?
Yeah,
sun comes out.
Switzerland's amazing.
It's always
it's like Italy's terrible, and then Switzerland's like, it's like they're like a line. where it
Come
like
have a
stops all.
cappuccino.
Yeah,
Have
yeah,
some cheese. Stay a while.
yeah. Switzerland it's a dream.
It is.
It's
And
so expensive though.
it's so expensive. Oh my gosh. Do you think that of all the races you've done so many, you've done distances of so long, do you feel like UTMB, and maybe it's because we passed through 3 countries, and the climbing is pretty intense. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of climbing races like UTMB. It's very aggressive.
Probably Hard Rock would be the only.
Yeah. Do you feel like that race? I really don't like to use the word suffering in a race. We don't really suffer, but I guess we use it. But do you think that that is the race where you've been battered the most by the weather and just the relentless climbing?
The true
Even out at
mountain
200s?
race. Yeah. But the Alps just have like real mountain weather. I haven't really I've experienced mountain weather in other mountain races, but not like the Alps, because the Alps will be like sunny and then it's like snowing.
So true.
And then it's like raining and then it's like sunny. And it's like that's what mountain weather is like.
Yes.
It's very unpredictable. It's very like microclimates all over the place. And it's very, if you don't like the weather, wait 15 minutes, you
Mhm.
know? Yeah. It's definitely a true mountain. I think like I've run a lot of hard races. I think it's one of the hardest races. And I always warn people, and people come into that race with a lot of ambition and a lot of like good at what they do. And it's soul crushing on how hard it is.
It humbles you.
But now it's like, because I like doing really hard things and I just love the beauty of the Alps and I love the environment and everything, I have like a sort of a rhythm that to get me through it, you know, and I know because I know what's coming up, and I just kind of like methodically go through what I know the next step is.
Do you tell yourself certain things? You're like, yeah, this is part of it. Like, do you get to
Yeah.
that point in races now where you're like, this is actually what I expected? Not necessarily like in a negative, pessimistic way, but does that help you?
Yeah, I mean, because I have like sort of checkpoints in my brain where I'm like, you know, like in the first 25 miles, if like my back's hurting or my, you know, knees or something, I'm like, yeah, you know, this is just your body's kind of has to get through the initial aches and pains, and then it'll smooth out. Or like I always hit a low like 55 to 60 miles where like I just kind of feel terrible, and I tell myself like, yeah, you know, you feel this every race. You might have blacked it out and like not thought about it, but like this is your low. Once you get past like 60, you're going to be like, oh, I only got 40 miles to go, and you're going to start to feel better. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, and like, because I do races more than once, then it does make it easier, because you kind of know what's coming for you. You know, it's sometimes hard when you're doing a climb and you don't know when it ends.
Yes.
You know?
I think that's really powerful. You get to the start of a race that you've done before, but I even say to like our listeners who are brand new to ultras, they're doing a brand new race. When you're already kind of put in your mental toolbox the solutions to all the variables and things that could go wrong, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty powerful. You'd be like, oh yeah, I'm not afraid of vomiting. Like it's part of it.
Right.
Everyone,
Yeah.
it's pretty normal, right?
It can work backwards though too, because sometimes if you're in a really bad low and you know what's coming, then your brain will start being like, we don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like abort, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Like pull the ripcord, you know?
Yeah.
So sometimes it can work against you, but in general, hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully you can, you know, stay strong. So
Well, you've done Cocodona every year since it started.
I know.
Was this your last year that you think that you'll do it?
No, I'm doing it till I'm the last man standing with the 6 of us that have done it every year.
That's incredible. But you hit weather that was the most
You're sorry,
uncharacteristic. Like you've had bad weather this whole year.
Yeah, it's been
You've
bad.
had gnarly weather. When you did the Arizona Monster 300, it was excruciating heat.
Yeah,
I mean, like gnarly. But in the beginning, it was wasn't there a crazy storm there too?
Yeah, the ice and snow.
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah.
Cocodona, having just done it in 23, where I remember it being more hot than
Very
anything.
hot, yes, yeah.
We know the desert gets cold at night. Like it's very deceptive. We always just think desert heat, but you're like, desert cold is bone chilling. The heat doesn't get stored anywhere.
And then people don't understand that like Cocodona is like an uphill race, and you get to Flagstaff and you're at 7,000 feet.
Yeah.
That's like over
And you
a
climb
mile.
higher that. I mean, I think Eldon,
it's cold up there at
it's
night.
freezing.
Really cold.
Yeah.
And the ground's cold and everything's cold.
Yes.
So-
What was that like this year? Did you just feel like automatically prepared for what you were running into, or were you like, what in the world is
No.
going on?
It was so miserable. It was so muddy and just terrible. There's like that section coming down off of what's the mountain at mile 100? I'm gonna I know I've done this so much.
Oh, I know. It's
no, Shay's.
It's not
up.
Shay. I know that one because the aid station's great.
Yeah. No, it's
No.
right before Jerome.
I
Anyways,
slept on the table.
Yeah.
I was miserable.
Coming down off that,
Yeah.
which is my least favorite part of the whole race, was just solid mud.
I can only imagine because
Yeah.
it's like that. I remember that terrain. It's like single track, and it's like you kind of get this view, and then you like go into the forest, and then
Yep.
you work your way up, and then you descend baby head rocks.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah. Baby head rocks into just solid mud. And yeah. And then, you get to Jerome and you're like, okay. And then you have those multiple river crossings and stuff. So,
Okay, I have to say though, you were moving really well in that race.
well,
I was tracking you the whole time, and it's not like you weren't back of the
no,
pack. And I kept
always
saying, I
just
was
move-
like, Andy knows this
I just
course.
move forward,
Yeah,
like,
you were moving pretty well. I can imagine there's a lot of people around you. How was that experience? Did you have a lot of people around you that were
I mean,
happy to stay with you, or were you like, hey, can you get away from me?
No,
for a little bit?
I'm always like, I love running with people and like more or less, especially through the middle of the night because
Totally.
it keeps you like alert and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But then, inevitably everybody has their own pace and
Yeah.
you'll be with some people for a while and then you break off. But at Dead Horse, which is after Jerome, I had to take all my shoes off and everything. And like, I put my feet up against those heaters because
Yeah.
I was getting like trench foot because my feet had been wet for so long.
Same thing. So like, I feel like being wet and mud that's the word, weather and terrain, right?
Yes.
Like I could run in sand, like put me in sand, but mud,
it's so hard.
as soon as you kick it off, it's a big brick on the bottom of your
Yeah.
shoe again, and it
Yeah.
slows you down. It weighs you down.
I got to figure something out with my feet though. Like I signed up for the spine race in the UK next year.
Oh my gosh. I was going to do that in 2018.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, like last minute, I had to pull out. That has been on my radar for so
It's been
long.
on
Are
mine
you doing that
too.
next year?
I'm doing it next
That's
year.
in 26. I've heard that is the toughest race
It's
in the world.
It's
Isn't
cool.
that the one that Jasmine Paris? Didn't
Yeah.
she win that race?
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
incredible.
And it's so you go 45 miles before the first aid station.
Okay, that I didn't know.
Second aid station's at 110.
Oh my
There's only 5
gosh.
aid stations and it's 268 miles.
Wait a minute. That's different than the Dragonback race.
It's
then.
different than Dragonback.
Okay, that's what I was signed up for.
Okay. Yeah, spine.
Dragonback is a stage race.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I think so. But this is they have a winter and a summer spine, and the winter one is the one. I think she won both of them, or she's.
That's
but
amazing.
but it's the winter one isn't all in snow. I'm doing the summer one, but you go through bogs the whole time.
Oh my god!
And so, like, I've been Googling bogs and I'm like, oh, great. So I'm going to be like in knee deep water. So I'm experimenting with all these different, lubes and ways to lube my feet and, all this sort of stuff to, waterproof socks versus not waterproof socks. And yeah, it's going to be an adventure.
When is that? Is that
It's in June.
Okay.
Yeah.
June 2026.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that. Where is it exactly?
I mean, I don't know.
What
It runs from England to Scotland.
Yep.
So
200
I think 68 miles.
And how long has that been around?
I think
That was
it's
around before 200s got all popular here.
Yeah, it's been around for a while.
Yeah.
It's one of those sort of gnarly. The Europeans do it differently. They're like in this race you're allowed no crew, no pacers. Like you're allowed to take aid from like villagers and stuff as you run through, but they have to offer aid to everybody. So,
Because I was going to say, you're going to get the most aid out of anyone.
Well, somebody, yeah.
You're be
But
well
you run
taken
through like
care
little
of.
villages and stuff, and you're allowed to stop at pubs and get food.
That's
And like
amazing.
stuff like that. But then there's also like quite a bit of remote stuff.
So you're used to this. You're carrying a pretty heavy pack.
You're gonna have to, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Especially in those
my
conditions.
concern is like water and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I've talked to a bunch of people because I'm, internationally people follow me.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of advice from people. Once I signed up for it and then like told people I was doing it. And then all the advice started coming in. And
That's
It sounds like there's water that you can filter and do stuff. So I won't have to carry too much water. But
probably an extra filter.
yeah, definitely. I'll probably
Yeah.
have 2 filters and then
Yeah.
just, I just 5 aid stations. Pretty nice. I mean, 45 miles with no aid. That's an adventure. And then the next one's like 63 miles with no aid. That's going to be and I'm just going through England. Like it's,
Yeah, that's amazing.
yeah,
Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
It'll
to
be a
follow
week long
along.
of Andy hallucinating and
Gosh, now you're making me want to do it. Maybe I should join you, Andy. We should just vlog the whole thing together.
Well, I think there's
we'll
only
stop in pubs
right
and
now.
like
There's only 2 Americans doing it, so I'm already podium for the next.
Yeah.
Right. I'm
First American.
I'm either going to be first American or second American. Nobody needs to know that there's only 2 of us, but yeah. So
that's
yeah.
amazing.
I think 100, and they have like the long one, and then kind of like Cocodona, then they have one that's like 130.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and then they have a small,
just 130.
Wow, yeah,
yeah.
So
is there 3 distances on?
I think there might be like a 50K or something
Okay.
like that too. So they definitely get more people doing it, but yeah, it sounds very interesting and very lot of rules and a lot of complexities, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I got time. I'm thinking I was gonna do MDS, which is the race out in Morocco.
Yes,
but I think I'm gonna do
Marathon
I
yeah.
think I'm gonna do Arizona Monster again.
Yeah, I have been asked so many times about doing that race, and it has never pulled at me.
Yeah,
I've known a lot of people that have done it, and I think that's maybe why.
Yeah, well, so I ran a bunch of UTMB with Nate from Nate, who's like they're like giant travel YouTube channel. They have like 4 million subs and they travel all over the world. They've been to like 112 countries. Anyways, they did that last year. So I really picked his brain and he made it seem really unappealing.
Yeah.
So,
that's honestly, that's why I haven't signed up.
Yeah.
I've had too many friends that have competed in it. And I'm like, man, that just is not.
And then I was like, well, so if Lauren comes and like, so Kara was with Lauren and I was with Nate. So I was racing with Nate and Kara was at the aid stations. And so Kara was giving her perspective and she's like, they put me in a tent. I wasn't with Nate. It was a bunch of other media people and it was like sleeping on the floor and sand and all. And Lauren's like, oh, we're not going to do that race. So,
we're going to stay married and not do that race.
3-hour bus rides and all this stuff.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I had a good time at the Arizona Monster. Maybe I'll just go back and do that again. So
yeah. So that right now, did you already sign up for it? Or is that kind of like a placeholder? Because there's a lot of races in the spring season.
Yeah. So it'd be like a fun, like Arizona Monster, Cocodona, Summer Spine.
Yeah.
So that'd be like,
those are all pretty
800
hefty.
miles or 900 miles of races in like 2 months.
So, have you ever thought, I know you're doing 100-mile weeks. Have you ever thought about creating like your own challenge where I think Catcher Corbet may have done this at one time, where you're doing like a 100-mile race every weekend. Have you ever thought, I don't know if your job will allow you that time away to do that.
I don't think I have enough PTO. Well, there was one guy that did a race every week for 52 weeks.
100 miles.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of them were 200s because
it's amazing.
There's not enough 100-mile weeks, but he was traveling all over the world to do all these races.
Whoa, that's a hefty
I'm trying
price
to think.
tag.
I can't believe I can't remember his name, but yeah, he did that like I think 2 or 3 years ago. He just finally got 100 hundreds because obviously he did 52 in 1 year.
Yeah,
so I was like that moved him up.
Yeah.
There's only like
a few people,
30 people that have done 100 hundreds.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Do you have like
crazy
short numbers in your head where you're like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that? Or is it just picking and choosing races that appeal to you that kind of keeps you motivated?
It's a mixture of how my schedule works with if it sounds cool.
Yeah.
Like,
and you get support from these races, right? I would think that I feel like some of the interaction engagement that you get is literally more than the actual race accounts.
If it's a small race, like I have no problem like paying for it. But if it's a bigger race, then like it just really depends. If the race director offers, a lot of times I'll take it. Sometimes I don't. It just depends. More or less, I just want access to the race. Like if it's like a lottery or something like that, I just want the ability to do it. But I mean, some races I do, some races I don't. I don't really have a rule, but as I'm getting bigger, it is like I get a lot of races that hit me up that obviously want me to come
Yeah.
because my videos then get, millions of
Yeah.
views and yeah.
Well, you expose it in such a cool way. It's very real. It's, I love that your motto is like smile, you're doing it wrong, but it's like that isn't necessarily the denial of like how hard these things are, and that you're not saying it's sunshine and unicorns
Yeah,
the whole
I try to
time.
show
Like,
the shows too,
yeah.
and like the I'm not always smiling.
Yeah.
You
But
know.
but it's clear that you have gratitude for what your body can do and gratitude for the opportunity, the experience. I mean, it's
Yeah,
it's
it's
why
fun.
people follow you. It is.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think it's fun to do hard things and to overcome. You're like, "Oh, dude, I
yeah,
am strong." You're like, that's such a
yeah.
good feeling.
Well, and at every ultra, you're gonna feel a low where you want to quit and you don't want to keep going, and it's that feeling of like finishing the race afterwards and like reflecting back on that low point and going like, I pushed through that. That's really rewarding, because when you're in that low, all you can think about is how bad you want to stop and how bad your body's just screaming like, stop, like, I don't want to do this anymore. And you somehow have to find a way to like not stop. I really enjoy that. And then like, the reflection of not quitting. And the reality is like, I have quit before. I have let the mind win before where I've like been like, no, I'm done. I'm going to go get in my warm bed and, live to fight another day. So I know that I don't
Which is wise sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just know that sometimes I'm not always successful. I don't always do the hard things. Like sometimes I don't, which is okay. I mean, that's life, I'm not invincible. I'm not a Superman, I'm a human and occasionally I don't want to do it and I can't do it and I, I quit. So,
Yeah.
um,
I like that message, though. I think it's a real story we can all get behind. I think this 100% revving the engine all the time, perfection all the time I don't think that was really meant for us.
right.
And we actually, there's a lot of lessons when I've DNF many times
Sure.
too. I've done UTMB 5 times. I've only made it to the finish line 3 times. And each time I've stepped off a course, I actually become stronger.
Yeah.
Because we have to sit with our DNF.
Oh yeah.
And we
you
have to
think
sit
about it like
yeah, you
way
think
more.
about it. What could have I done better? How could I have pivoted? And then you take all like those lessons and you actually are stronger. Every DNF I've ever had, I always like later that year I won a race. And it was because this fire's kind of created in you where you're like, I think I could have done that better. I want to be better. I want to grow from that. But if you never have those moments of I want to be better, I want to grow, then what do you have? How do you get stronger? So
And how do you get mentally stronger if you don't, fail and then come
yeah.
back? I mean,
Yeah.
people don't just become mentally strong, like just naturally with no failures. I mean, you become mentally strong because you fail a bunch
Yeah.
and then you come back from it. And that's where like the mental toughness comes in. I don't think you can become mentally tough without a lot of adversity and a lot of challenges and a lot of, failing and then bouncing back from it. Cause the failures hurt, but they're also like, you're like you said, you're learning about parts of yourself that you didn't know about or something that you did incorrectly that you can then fix. Yeah, my DNF list is long, but my success list is even longer. So at the end of the day, what's more impressive,
Mm.
And at the end of the day, we don't do these races because they're guaranteed or like, weather, food, all these, a hole that you step in, all these things can change the course of the race that we don't necessarily have a lot of control in. So I'm sure a lot of people DNF'd UTMB because of the weather was just insane, and I'm sure they were like, F this, like, I don't,
Totally.
I don't want to experience this pain anymore. But, it's funny because I was talking to someone about it and it was like, it was so miserable, but it's 109 miles and the miserable part was probably only a couple miles, but they were a slow, miserable couple miles. But if you quit at that point, you didn't see that there was 80 other miles that were amazing. So it's that, there's always light at the end of the tunnel if you can just get there. But it was real dark in that tunnel that night, before I got to the light. So
That's so beautiful. Can you put that in your book?
Yeah.
Running is one of the most powerful parallels to life. I mean, and we see it all the time,
Right.
that this idea of, especially in ultras, it's not a sprint, just like life. Sprints are easy. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm standing here, the race hasn't started, I see the finish line.
Right.
Ultra is, whether it's 50K or a 500K, you never see this finish line when you're standing at the start. I mean, I know there's loop courses, but this idea of being out there at 2 a.m. alone on a mountain, you're so far from an aid station, and then it starts snowing. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful picture of life. I think that is the most relatable moment for all humans is, so I was in this season of life and I just didn't want to be there anymore. I just wanted to give up. And whether it's, true in life or in a race, I love just what you said. It was like, man, the hardest part was only 2 of the miles.
Right. In hindsight, yeah.
In hindsight.
But you didn't know.
But
at the
you
time,
didn't
you have
know
no
that.
idea how long it's going to last.
Yeah.
Is the whole race going to be like this?
Yeah.
You start getting in your head. I can't do 100 miles of this snow. I can't do 100 miles of this wind, this cold, but the sun's going to come up. Things are going to change. You just have to, keep moving forward. I mean, I tested at like 30 fire departments before I got a job, which means that like 29 people said no.
Wow.
And like I was saying earlier, like the battalion
Wait, how
chief.
many years was that?
It was several. Well, I got hired with a fire department that I didn't want to stay at, so I was there, and then I tested at like 30 other departments before I got hired, and I went all up and down the state from Chula Vista way down in San Diego to Oxnard, everywhere in between. Just taking tests, getting interviews, I even went through some backgrounds, and then like they didn't like my backgrounds, and so I failed backgrounds.
Like, were you at this wilderness camp back in '99?
Well, I learned some important lessons in background investigations when like the polygraph guy goes, "How many times have you smoked weed?" And you're like, well, and you start thinking like, well, I smoked it every day and you start doing the math. You're like 365 times, and then maybe I smoked it 3 times a day. So that's 1,000 times a year. And they're like, like 5,000 times. And then they're like, fail. So, I learned not to maybe be as honest, as you need to be. But, some departments aren't big on that. But, yeah, my point is that I failed a ton before I got like hired with the dream like job that I wanted. And, the battalion chief job, I took it. I failed. I like didn't even like not pass or like got scored low. Like I failed it. And then came back the next time 2 years later and not only passed it, but was like number 1 and then got the job. So, like anything, you're going to fail, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to do things the wrong way, but the key is to keep moving forward and to like keep just making yourself better. In those 2 years, not only did I get better at taking the battalion chief test, but I made myself a better candidate by taking classes and like participating in things that just made me look better on paper, and so when it came around the next time, then I got the job. So, but was it hard pill to like swallow when I failed it and I thought I had done well? I literally thought I had done well. And then it was like, I was actually at UTMB and I got a call from the chief and he was like, "Hey, I just want to let you know that you didn't pass the test." And it was like, I was like, "Oh, okay." Like, thank you for letting me know. And, I had to like continue on and somebody else got the job. But, it didn't make me stop or slow down. It just made me like more passionate about, being successful the next time, just like in an ultra, right? Like you don't just quit just because you DNF. You just go back to the drawing board. What did I do wrong? How can I get better? And then, apply that to the next race.
I feel like people probably quit too early then.
And a lot of them do,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm going back to Moab year 3. Failed it twice. We're gonna get it done this time.
Yes, you are.
I got 3 weeks.
Third time's the charm.
Third time's the charm.
Is it in 3 weeks?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
God.
Maybe like close to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's coming up. So that's gonna be, yeah. I have a crew though and pacers and everything.
I love
so
it.
we're going to do it old school and have help and they'll
Good.
drag me across that line if I have to.
I love that. You're going to get it done. Third time's a charm.
Yeah.
I love everything that you just shared. I know that you inspired a lot of our listeners who are thinking about areas in their life outside of sport where they can apply that, because it's easy to scroll through social media right now and just it seems like everyone's succeeding.
Right.
Everyone's doing great things. Everything comes easily to this person. This person seems to be enjoying their life. This person seems to always have success. But to talk about your success in a way that failure was a part of your success, it's why you are so successful. It's what's made you resilient. It's what has really fortified the foundation that you stand on. And in my opinion, you seem like someone that's just not afraid to fail. You just see it as like not a negative thing. It's just a part of the journey.
Yeah, and when I, teach young firefighters and, we go through this, it's there's a culture where like, we're teaching you how to like pull a hose or throw a ladder or do whatever skill, rope rescue, whatever. And guys don't want to fail. This new generation doesn't want to fail because they're like embarrassed, or they think people are going to make fun of them or talk shit about them or whatever. And maybe they are. Maybe someone will do that. If they do, that's really on them. But it's important to fail. It's important to do things wrong because you internalize that, And if I pull a hose the wrong way, and someone's like, "Hey, that's not the way you do it. You just failed that evolution." You're going to remember that, and you're not going to make that mistake again. Right? You're going to go, okay, I'm going to remember that. And the next time you pull that hose, I know people aren't going to really understand what that means, but like, you got to pull a hose to the door to put the fire out. And we have a very specific way we do it.
From the truck.
From the truck. Whether it's like you use this arm to like do this, and then there's loops or whatever, you're going to remember and you're not going to do it wrong the next time. And it's actually better to fail than to do it successfully the first time. Because if you do it successfully the first time, you like maybe won't like internalize that mistake. And so maybe you don't do it for like 2 months and then you go to do it. Maybe there's not that like memory, that core memory that's been triggered where you're like, I have to do it this way because I did it the other way before and it was wrong, So I really try to like emphasize that to the younger, like fire generation. Like, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay. We are training. In training, we want to make mistakes. We do not want to make mistakes when there's an actual fire. The training part is where you make the mistakes. So please mess up. And then I will tell you, you messed up and we will fix it. And then when the actual fire is going on, hopefully, you won't make that mistake. So
I love that. I love that these men are hearing from you like that. To hear that kind of grace is probably what they're not expecting from the battalion chief, that it's going to be rigid. And if I make a mistake, well, that's the label that I'm a failure and I'm not good enough. And I think that's a lot of what people believe. In a lighter way, I mean, I hear people say this in races, like, it didn't go well. It's just not for me. Like, I tried the 50K thing, like it sucked. And, I just want to always follow up when people say that. But is that how you feel in everything in your life?
Right.
50Ks, that's just a race. Like, that doesn't define who you are. That's an opportunity. It's a gift. There's aid stations and crew and support. Like that isn't hard. And whether you fail or succeed in a race, just a race. But
you still did it. I mean,
you still did it. You lined up.
Most people don't even do it.
Won't even do it. Won't even hit the confirm button on the registration form. Won't even attempt to train. Won't even get to that start line. I love that you made that point because I do speak about that a lot too. I'm just like, you actually believed.
Right.
There is a point you believed you could do that way long before you got to the start line, right? But there is also this, and maybe we learn it when we're in elementary school because, that mean kid in class made fun of us as the bully at school or the teacher that embarrassed us in front of everyone. And it's just that then becomes I'm not going to speak up because I'm going to get shut down or made fun of. I'm not going to try because last time I tried, it was so embarrassing. I fell on my face in front of everyone, or I swung the bat and I missed and I lost the game. And it was like we were in the final. I mean, it's crazy how things that are ingrained in us in our youth, which I love that so many kids follow you. You have a lot of kids that follow you.
A lot of young
My kids friends ask me about you.
That's funny.
They do.
Yes.
They've come up to me like, you know Andy Glaze? And I'm like, it warms my heart so much. Not even on the sense like, yeah, we're both runners. It's like, no, like we need examples of good, strong men who speak truth and kindness and grace and at the same time can say, you know what? You need to be strong and own up to your mistakes and you need to work hard and you need to try things, but also like have grace. It's okay to fail.
Right.
It's okay to not have this all figured out. Like have fun, smile, do hard stuff. Like I think our youth, they need to hear that. And so there's a reason why you have the platform that you have. There's a reason why, Andy, you've had the life experiences you had. There's a reason why your platform is growing right now, why you're about to release a book. And when I look at the world right now, for such a time as this, you need to know your life has been purposeful from day one for right now.
Right.
And it's just so beautiful. You're such a bright light, Andy. And I hope that you hear that more than anything. I know you have a wonderful wife. She is so encouraging of you. I love the way she dotes on you online. She
also gives me a lot of
so highly of you. Yeah.
Well,
you guys interact online differently.
She likes to give me a hard time, which is good. Somebody has to do it. You know? You keep me in check. You know.
But it's sweet. It's real.
Yeah.
And it's never a doubt that you two are each other's, biggest fans.
We are.
It's just really, it's so encouraging to hear how freely these really powerful messages flow from you. I mean, they really are full of so much light.
Well, and I really like to, like, when I fail, I own it. I go online and I say, hey, like when I didn't get the battalion chief job, I made a whole video and I was like, hey, I didn't get the job. Because, obviously my life is on social media. So I was telling people, hey, I'm testing for this job. And then when I didn't get it, like, I had to say, like, look, somebody else beat me. I didn't do, and they're going to do a great job. And I'm happy for them and support them. And honestly, I'm at the time, like I couldn't maybe see it, but I'm glad that person got the job. They've done an amazing job as a battalion chief. And now he and I work together and we work together really well. But like at the time, he was the better candidate. He had more experience. He was just better in all ways. So it's a good thing that he got it. And it's a good thing for my department that he got it. And now he and I work together and that's great as well. So, but yeah, I think you got to be honest. Like you said, social media is a highlight reel, but our responsibility as, whatever we are, influencers or whatnot, like is to also highlight our failures and our shortcomings because everybody has them and we're human and we make mistakes and do dumb stuff sometimes. And I think we have to let the people out there know that, we're human. So
absolutely.
We're not, don't put us on a pedestal because that's not going to help anybody. So
absolutely. That's a good message, Andy. I'm going to kind of wrap it up right there because it's just, there's so much that you spoke of today that I know needs to marinate with our listeners, young and older, and people who run and people who don't. It doesn't matter if you're a runner or not. I always invite you to listen or watch our podcast. I especially invite you, and if you have youth, to follow Andy because Andy, you live a real life in every way. You're a hardworking man, a leader in your community, you're a leader in your home, you love your wife and your children, and you do these really jaw-dropping, difficult, challenging races all over the world, and you do it with a resilience and a hope that I know that this world needs. So I just want to thank you for being you. Thank you, Andy. I know you've had some really hard years in your life where it would have been a lot easier and maybe in your mind comforting to just give up, and you didn't. And I think that I know there are people who listen to this. I mean, Eddie and I, we get messages all the time from kids who say, you're like parents to me. I don't have great parents. And I just know that this podcast is going to resonate with a lot of youth and just people that need to know that we don't have to have things figured out. And it's okay to be and to feel like, man, life is heavy right now, but can we take another step? Because we don't know what's on the other side.
Right.
I love that analogy you gave. It was like, it was 2 miles, but it felt like it was like forever. But the other 80 miles were sunny.
Yeah.
You
just keep moving forward, at the end of the day, and every day is a new day. and some days are going to be terrible, and hopefully the next day will not be. So just keep moving forward.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you.
I appreciate you. This has been awesome.
Yeah, it's been so good. I think I just need to do a routine Andy podcast. When I told people you were coming on the show, I reposted the video of us together. It's literally one of my favorite videos.
Yeah.
I again was met with hundreds of people who said they could not wait.
Me too.
They could not wait for the message.
Yeah. People are so pumped that I was going
They're
back
so
on.
pumped. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, it's so easy just to sit on the couch here with you. I never have to bring notes when I talk with you.
I know. It's we're talkers. You and I are chatty.
We're chatty, but it's always such a pleasure to talk to someone you can just be real with. There's not any fakeness here. We're not trying to carve something out of something that isn't real. This is just it's real life. We're doing life, and we're figuring it out. But I want people to be able to keep up with you. I know they can find you on Instagram. Does your Instagram account have a link tree where they can find your Substack, where they can find your merch, where they can find your book?
I think it has 2 links. One's a link tree that has all the links, and then andyglaze.com is like my merch and
wonderful
stuff like that.
So we're going to put those links in the description of this show. As you always know, we do that. Wherever we have our podcasts, you can follow Andy there. Obviously, if you follow the Chew Strong podcast, we will put up all of Andy's information, not only in the posts and the stories, but as we push that out. But we encourage you to follow Andy. He's a wonderful follow. He's real. He's raw. He's funny. He's relatable. And he's a great follow for all ages. Whether you run or not, you're probably going to be entertained. So all of us, Andy, are going to be so excited to follow you at Moab this year. A big question, though. We have a lot of listeners going to Javelina. Will you be at Javelina this year?
I should be. I signed up.
Okay. So I'm going to be at Javelina. I'm doing something special this year around just everyday runner stories. And I've asked listeners, if you are going to be there, whether you are a crew chief, a coach, you're running, you're pacing, I would love to know, just if you have any type of backstory, you can send that to me, contact@sallymccrae.com. We've already gotten a lot of stories that have come in. I am going to be conducting some interviews, doing some pretty fun stuff. But Andy, I would love to have you on that show. So I'll be there in the days leading up to the Javelina 100 race in Arizona. Yeah, we'll have to talk offline because maybe we can do something a little bit more powerful together. But I haven't been out to that race since I last did it back in 2019. I decided to do it right after UTMB. And I guess it's maybe like 6-7 weeks after. At the time it's like 8 weeks after UTMB. But it's funny thinking I got 5th place when I had run it. And when I look at my time, I'm like, I don't even know if I get top 20 anymore.
Yeah, I know. It's so fast now.
It's crazy. I did like in 18 hours, and it's like, that's actually slow for the top 10
they've
women.
Changed the course, now it's all the same direction.
Yes.
We used to do the washing machine style.
Yes.
And that is harder. I mean, it just is. So.
Yeah, it is harder. But just in the handful of years, it's wild how much it's changed. But it is one of my favorite. It is more of an end of the season type race. A lot of people end their season with
finish,
that. Yeah. So it ends up being like a party.
Oh, it's a huge
And
party.
every year I have FOMO because it's like, I think they do such a good job with everybody hangs out at the same spot. There's music and food trucks, and all the crews are in that one place. And so anyway, I'm really excited to go back out there. It'll be great to see you. If you are going to be out either at Moab 240 or at Javelina 100, I know that Andy would love to see you. He would love to meet you. And hopefully he will get to see you wearing one of his hats. But we'll put all those links in there. Andy, people are still running right now. If you want to give them a good word as they are plodding along.
Don't forget, smile, you're doing it wrong. Got to do it.
I love it. Great way to end. Listeners, as always, know that we love you. We appreciate you. And whenever we see you, we would love to connect with you. Remember to keep choosing strong in all you do.